A new Liverpool faces off against a new opposition to start the new season. Ipswich Town vs Liverpool. The Tractor Boys come into the Premier League riding high, as Kieran McKenna's side arrive from 2 straight promotions. Though their inexperience, they haven't been in the top division for 22 years, makes them favourites for relegation before a ball has been kicked this season. They will come in with a lot of pride and willingness to prove these beliefs wrong. Interestingly, the last game Ipswich played in the top division was against Liverpool at Anfield, giving their return a bit of a parallel, a strength for Ipswich Town. Togetherness. The side not only have been promoted together, but have had a very long and settled pre-season. In contrast, many questions for Orange Slot come from unevenness in preparation. Leif Davis is the major player to watch for Ipswich, and the rise to the Premier League has many chatting about a potential England cap coming for the young left-back. Mohamed Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold play on Davis's side of the pitch, giving it the feel of a perfect immediate test at the top level for Davis, but the Reds should be aware that Davis and left-sided midfielder Omari Hutchinson can pose a real threat to teams. In fact, the way Davis plays will be reminiscent of chatter around Alexander-Arnold himself, with much made of his attacking prowess and a bit made about the gaps in defence left by such an approach. Hutchinson joined Ipswich permanently in July from Chelsea after a really promising loan showing, netting 10 goals and 6 assists last season in the Championship. The Jamaican international will look to add to that number at the top level, though if anything the Reds are used to being targeted down their right side. Ipswich signed Liam Delap from Manchester City this summer, and he could debut in the attack on Saturday. The 21-year-old scored 1 goal in his 6 senior appearances for City. Ipswich has also just signed Championship top scorer Sammy Szmodics from Blackburn Rovers, who managed 27 goals last season and might debut in place of one of the more settled attacking players for McKenna's side. Connor Chaplin is a more familiar name for the attack alongside Hutchinson, though there's some uncertainty in what the attack will look like with new signings. While McKenna might limit his debuts, he has some firepower to play with. Even without the new signings, the Tractor Boys scored 92 goals last season and will look to open their account this weekend against a side who were happy to give up a goal last season. Even if the Reds were hard to wrestle points off of, team captain and Egyptian international Sami Mosi will likely be first name on the team sheet in midfield. The defensive midfielder's solidity was a large reason for the team's success, and he will look to carry this forward in the face of the opposition attacking challenge Ipswich will face this season, and especially in the first 2 weeks. Though Ipswich are one of this season's new boys, not everyone will be new. Manchester City's Calvin Phillips has joined them on loan. He could start in the midfield. Ipswich start the season against Liverpool and then Manchester City, which is at once a baptism by fire in the Premier League, while also being something of a free hit for the newcomers. Any points at all would be a win for the Tractor Boys, which may well take the pressure off in some ways. Whereas playing another newly promoted team or a team who disappointed last season might have seen Ipswich play with a bit more pressure toward getting a result. Liverpool once again start the season against a newly promoted side, and will hope to lay a marker down in terms of what Orange Slot's version of Reds hope to achieve. While Liverpool have no new arrivals this summer, heavy sigh, the new manager might not have a settled starting 11 yet regardless. The uncertainty provided by a new manager might mean we see a set of returning players looking to prove themselves like their new signings. Repeated heavy sigh. Though the personnel will be familiar, we should see some tactical differences between Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool and the Reds under the new manager. Though there are a lot of moving parts still, we can expect a less direct approach. In the build-up, expect to see a structure that looks more like a 4-2-3-1 with an emphasis on possession and creating gaps slowly, so don't expect the level of attacking chaos that signalled Jurgen Klopp's takeover from Brendan Rodgers. We can expect to see some corner routines that will make the old heads around you complain. The early kickoff is certainly a bit of an annoyance, though midweek, given that the Reds are playing a team who will look to harness excitement at home in a new division. The earliness might well help, and getting one of the early kickoffs out of the way without midweek fixtures is always a positive, since each team can only get allocated to the early slot a set amount of times, allegedly. The personnel choices are difficult largely for fitness reasons, with a few late returners. Andy Robertson returned from the Euros with an injury, and though he's fit now, the start of the season may be a bit too soon for him to do a full 90. Alexis McAllister looked a bit off pace in his final pre-season match, so the opening match may come a bit too soon for his adjustment to the new manager's expectations. with some questions about fitness as well. Connor Bradley could start, though Trent Alexander-Arnold is always more likely. We might see substitutions for one or both of the fullbacks at some point in the opening match for fitness reasons. The midfield is its own open question, with Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott having spent the most time in pre-season training under Slot. One or both of them can expect to start, though there are a lot of questions, and many right answers, for who starts in the middle of the pitch with an eye toward tactical balance. I've gone with Jones, Elliott and Dominic Szoboszlai above, but Ryan Gravenberch and McAllister will be interested as well. Ipswich Town are unbeaten in 10 straight opening day matches. Liverpool will have something to say about that stat, what the managers had to say. On Slot, we are always talking about transfers, but also a very positive thing that we kept our players and they are in a good place. Jürgen left the team in a good place and we are trying to build from there. Last season was also a season where they won a trophy with this team, so we are hoping and aiming for the same, but it's not going to be easy because there are a lot of good and strong teams in the Premier League who have strengthened their squads. We are looking forward to the challenge. Kieran McKenna, the group has worked so hard for the opportunity we have in front of us this season. The supporters have waited a long time. It is great excitement. We know the scale of the challenge and what is ahead of us, but it's going to be a wonderful season. The officials, if you haven't done so already, take a moment to sign up for an SB Nation account and join the community at the Liverpool Offside, where we'll bring you and your fellow Reds fans from around the world full coverage of every Liverpool match from the 2023-24 season in the Premier League, Europa League, and domestic cups, along with breaking news, insight and opinion, tactical discussion, and post-match reaction.